Well, that escalated quickly. The waiting time is over. More answers arrive, more carnage ensued. After the review of the final panel of the entire series, fans are even more engaged with every word and development. How would the current situation lead to that very scene? In due time. In the meantime, a new massacre is on the horizon, and this chapter brought all the troubling feelings with the friendships bridge on fire and a sudden action that got me anxious. The beginning scenes picks up where we last left off with a shocking reveal on the wine filled with Zeke's spinal fluid. John does all the talking as Haji, and others are trying to save Falco after he consumes some. I appreciate them for trying. Whether it works or not, they don't look as cold-hearted as Anti-Survey Corps. More info reveals that Niccolo was assigned to give the higher-ups the wine from the very start. It all began with the ship's delivery. In other words, they acted friendly to deceive them. Supposedly this is all Yelena's doing, and as of late it's believable. I still like her, character-wise, but damn, talk about terrifying. Once again, Oyan Capone has no idea on the matter, which again reflect Yelena's complete suspicious to everyone. Personally, the scariest part is not knowing what's true or theory. Survey Corps have no proof on many things, only to go by speculations from those who oppose as enemy. Drinking it was supposed to knock you out, which was mentioned before. If true, shouldn't it happen to others by now? That would have saved Zeke's innocence if it wasn't for Niccolo to fill in further detail. While the method isn't exactly known, he can reflect a history lesson that contained it. 10 years ago, Marley took down a nation in one night, thanks to Zeke and his plan. Because of it, they practically use it as a secret weapon that continuously works well. If it works best, use it. Is the ideal, I would think. It's true that maybe it's just Yelena acting on her own, but her loyalty is with Zeke, so this ties in too well. I have to say, I really like Niccolo even after the last chapter. He lost his cool, but then it succumbed to forever darkness like Floch and others, which we will get to that later. When you think about it, if he didn't want Survey Corps to live, he could have just handed in the drink. They have or had crap load of wines, so there's no need to reserve. Plus, I do feel bad for him, admitting his faults and cruelty. He may not understand why he stopped them, but I think he has bonded well enough to this world. Sasha will be so proud. Armin and Mikasa are alone with Gabi, and unlike Eren, they are merciful towards her. Fortunately, Gabi isn't as rebellious as last time. She mellowed out and pondering why they won't kill her after taking Sasha's life. This annoys Armin, for her words reminded him of Eren. Speaking of the devil, he actually shows up. Casually, if I may add. This threw me off as I was expecting him to be at somewhere far away. So this got my heart pounding for answers. That said, with his hand sliced to signal a warning, no way would I think this would end nicely. Since Eren is there, that would mean his men are there as well. And sure enough, they take Haji and others as hostages. The conflict between the two factions is discomforting, and in some way, frustrating. But in a good writing's perspective way, it's clear that Haji versus Floch is a thing, and this chapter presses on further between the two. Haji does her best to avoid the conflict, but Floch gives her a hard time. They already declined Pixis' proposal because of Eren's decision. He and others are truly treating him like God. Let me tell you, the Beast Titan really let the wrong person to live. If you're wondering, how did Eren and others find out Survey Corps' current location? It's because of Niccolo's companion Greer that ratted him out. What annoys me is how much of a backstabber he comes off. I wouldn't say he and Niccolo were like best of friends, but his tone and expression pissed me off, for he believes he's righteous and Niccolo is nothing but delusional. You would think Niccolo is the traitor, but it is he, Greer. Haji is trying to reason with them one more time by exposing the plan and warning them about Zeke. Again, Greer concludes they have no proof, so they're wrong. Will someone throw a bottle at him? Floch acts like he's the boss and takes them as prisoner because he knows he's right. Huh, what a schmuck. Fine, he's in civil war, but why the hell he has to bring Brost's family as well? What an asshole. The cherry on top is more or less the reveal of his awareness. Exploiting Zeke's attention could have given Floch and others a second thought, like, maybe this is a good idea. But when he mentioned about the higher-ups, in which the detail of them drinking the wine wasn't exposed, that means he knows the whole plan. What's cringeworthy is Floch smiles sadistically at Haji. Knew about it all this time. My respect for him goes straight to the gutter. If you're wondering why he even has some, well, I have no damn clue. At last, for the next large part of the chapter, it's time for a reunion with Eren, Mikasa, and Arimi with a special guest, Gabi. This has to be one hell of a day for her. Eren comes off like the final boss with his new hairstyle, a face that can kill, and the aura of a tyrant. It is understandable for newcomers to believe he's always the main villain. From here, the discussion between old friends is filled with new interesting details, unnerving feelings, and heartbreaking. It is one hell of an emotional roller coaster ride that is intense as an action set piece. The tension increases when Armin lays down the questions and theories, wondering if Eren was influenced by Zeke. It's the question we have been waiting for an answer. It begins with a simple statement. I am free. This destroys the theory of brainwash or anything that takes away his own free will. Because of it, that means their precious friend has gone rogue and going deep in on his own account. I feel bad for Mikasa in this chapter. It gets worse later on, but let's go over slowly. It's clear that she doesn't want to believe Eren has changed, spouting every reason that he wouldn't be this cruel, including the scarf. It's telling how Eren looked annoyed when she made an excuse. It's even more telling when he practically tells her to shut up and sit down. By this point, I was struck by his tyrant tone, feeling confused why this is happening. He reveals that he has talked to Zeke and learned a lot, influenced him big time. That's an understatement. If Gabi envisioned Paradise Island as Eren, by all means, call them the devil. Eren and Arimi's discussion is gut-wrenching, for this is the first time we see Eren insult the daylight out of him. I know what I just said. He learned the inheriting the Titan can influence the mind of the current user. What that means is if the previous user is eaten, then the mind and feelings will travel to the next user. He is aware that Armin has been visiting Ani, and since Bertolt loved her, it's his love that made him act on his own. That would explain Armin gazing at her like he wants to kiss. Not to mention the scene where Armin looks at a crying Titan before waking up. Basically, he lives in him. That's a nice detail and all, but would it be fine if Eren didn't tell him in a cold manner? He didn't just tell him, he insulted him, calling him useless. The cold stare is unwarranted, but he really wants to burn the bridge of friendship. It's fine because he was just saying, because Mikasa jumped in to stop Eren from insulting. It's her turn to be taught a lesson, and this one is a doozy. We got to learn more detail about the Ackerman family, mainly where their strength comes from. It was said before that they are human beings that manifest the power of the Titan. That's not news as we learn it from the past chapter. However, it's the source and reason for that awakened power that is new. The family is designed to protect the Eldians' king, and as a result, the instincts of their blood will activate once they recognize someone as a host. That is an interesting info, but what really stunned me is Mikasa as Exhibit A. By that, I mean when you recap the series, This made crazy sense of why she clings on him all this time. I'm freaking stunned that Isayama may or may not intentionally have Mikasa to portray as Eren's body and soul guard, let alone seen as a gag. This series keeps bringing the surprises. When Eren yelled fight back in childhood, Mikasa did in fact activate her power, hence the crater, only because she saw him as the host. Keep in mind, her parents were dead by that point, so it's like she finds a new host and cling on like what an Archimedes intended to do. Is it similar to Levi with Erwin? That too would make sense. Hell, even Kenny with Udi. My mind is blown. Mikasa doesn't want to submit. The thought of mind control is what bonded her and Eren. That idea will make their relationship seem artificial. If you're a pairing fan, talk about destruction. In all seriousness, this gets painful when Eren also points out the headaches that family gets whenever they resist being forced to protect its host. We recently saw one earlier with her remembering Eren's knife stabbing scene as a child. Stop making sense. Once again, the detail is fascinating and all, but damn, why the cold words, Eren? Eren is also burning his bridge with Mikasa. He insults her by calling her a slave. The real her has disappeared since the day of her parents' death. That's like saying the whole family died there. That is messed up. Armin tries to stop him, but Eren is on a roll, so the fire keeps spreading. He has a lot of hate, but the one he hates the most is lack of freedom, and two of his close friends are among them. Damn, enough already. The nail on the coffin is Eren's closing words to her. All this time, from the beginning, he always hated her. Ouch. Just ouch. Mikasa is on all time broken up. I felt really bad for her. She is destroyed by words. Strong women can cry. Army channel my inner rage and goes for a punch on Eren. You know their friendship is torn apart when Army wants to hurt him. Mikasa stops him aggressively, proving Eren's point. What the hell, man? For the love of God, stop crying, Mikasa. You're physically hurting me. Army does land a punch on Eren. I don't know about you, but I was so satisfied with that panel. Sadly, Eren still gets the upper hand afterward with, what else? Even more insults. Army got that punch in, but that would be the only time. Eren squashes him easily. Why? Because according to Eren, Army has no way to put up a fight against him. So not only he calls him weak, but also useless. What an asshole. Now he will take them, along with Gabi, as hostages. Despite the beating, Armin does have one impacting line to say. Eren is all about freedom, free this and free that. But the only freedom he gained is to hurt Mikasa. In his words, who's the real slave to a piece of shit? Armin's likability increased 100-fold with that line. Eren got played by his own game. Lovely. To recap, Eren is a piece of shit that exposed details that two of his best friends are slaves and he's the only one that is freed. Only he's a slave to a piece of shit aspect. It's like a bully. If they don't have remorse, they're just piece of shit that think they're the top. The question is, does Eren mean all of it? It's hard to say. I have some doubts. I mean, saying that he hated Mikasa all this time is way too far. And that can't be true. Sure, he may have some problems with her, fine. But to hate her all this time, hate is a strong word, you know. I think he incorporated Aquaman's gene to excuse his connection with her. As for Armin, he told him he's useless due to enslavement by previous Titan users. He could be right, but calling him useless doesn't seem like his character. This is, or was, his best friend we're talking about. Why would Eren do all of this? I don't know. Some would say perhaps he's influenced by all Titan's users like he too is brainwashed. It's possible, but I think this is really Eren. Part of me wants to believe he wants to break all ties so he can die peacefully. The flashback shows how nice and innocent he is towards his friends. I know a lot can change, but this much? I believe there's more to learn, including his true agenda. For now, I'll wait and see what he has in mind to go back to where it all began, Shiganshina District. The next segment. Oh boy, let's go over, shall we? Levi learned the news about Daria's death and Aaron's faction. He must be thinking, damn, a lot of shit is happening without me. But seriously, there has been a lot of commotion while he's watching Zeke. They expect Aaron's faction to arrive soon. After the proposal fall through, they leave with no choice but to feed a Titan with Eren. The train of thought from Levi is interesting and somewhat depressing. Eren is now an enemy, and all Levi can think about is all the sacrifices he made. His comrades have died for Eren, protecting, saving, and placed their hope on him to bring humanity back. Now that it comes down to this, killing Eren now will feel like all the sacrifices will be in vain. I don't blame Levi for thinking that. I too would be disgusted at all of my hard work result to that. I feel bad for him. Damn, Aquaman is just not having a good day at all. Whether it is to justify his sacrifices or not, he declines the plan to use Eren as food. Instead, he wants Zeke to be victimized. It's a good idea, but the supposed first user, Historia, is pregnant, so they can't use him to feed her yet. However, Levi wants a random person from a faction to turn into a Titan, and then use Zeke to transfer the beast. Once Historia is ready, like soon after the baby is born, then they will feed her with the beast. That's really risky, but I suppose Levi really wants his payoff to be at least worth it. Besides, he hates Zeke with a burning passion, so this will please him. The discussion between Levi and Zeke is haunting once you pick up the detail underneath. Zeke is bored, asking if there's any more wine to drink. Oh, damn. What a heavy foreshadow. One thing to note is Levi wasn't informed about the wine, let alone where they came from. On that note, if Zeke is truly the mastermind, then he will use his roar to attack at any time. By this point, I wasn't completely solid on his attention, since it can't be just with Yelena, so it's still a guess. Levi, on the other hand, is sold that he is the mastermind. He is certain that he got him surrounded with guards, won't able to attack freely. From this, he can finally fulfill his vow to Eren after so long. That was a touching scene. Still cherish him to this day. The chapter was going to end on a good note for him, even though things are getting chaotic back at the district. It was calm and cozy. Then Zeke runs off. When I saw that, my mind said, oh shit. Followed by motherfucker. As soon as he runs off, all the innocent and doubts are gone with the wind. He's been pulling strings and nearly everyone fell for it. If you somehow still doubt it, he roars as to say, I knew they drank it, and everyone begins to change. My heart was beating faster. My mind was filled with the word no. And the tension goes beyond the clouds. Levi confronts old comrades as they become his new familiar enemy. Titans. Hell is here. Now that's a hell of a cliffhanger. I was lost for words. Well done, Isayama. What a chapter. This was pretty heavy. The tension was high on both grounds. The reunion with Eren, Mikasa, and Armin was quite something else. It was emotional, unnerving, and honestly hard to read. We know these characters quite well, their experiences and all, so seeing them falling apart is the last thing we want. The whole situation with Zeke and Levi had me losing my head. While Levi's feeling left me sympathetic, Zeke, and in this chapter, left me breathless. The massacre is happening at the forest. It won't be long now before everyone gets it. And that would do it for the review. I hope you enjoyed this one. What else can I say? This was one hell of a chapter. What do you think of this chapter? What do you think is going to happen next? Share your thoughts in the comment section. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.